The best thing that you can do on set is to allow your collaborators to sort of find moments of poetry. So we knew that we wanted to film some demolitions. So we seen some buildings nearby our shooting location that looked like it was, abandoned, and essentially they were just waiting for the government to come in and demolish it. So we had, kind of pushed that a little bit further, and so we had two buildings that we could film. And originally it was just to kind of like film some demolitions happening. There were supposed to be little kind of like segment breaks, throughout the film. But then the whole shooting of that should just take 20-30 minutes. So of course there wasn't anything I could really do there except letting the DP and set up the camera and having the AD sort of, like a second unit sort of direct that part. Um, and I remember actually like very clearly being very annoyed that the DP was taking way longer than the time that I given him. And I was just like, oh God, what is going on? We have to keep going, because I had already been back at the other location. And so when he came back and I said, so what happened? Why did it take so long? He's like, well, no, we shot some different images, and we all shot all the images in 2,000 frames, which is really, very, very slow motion. And I kind of forgot about it for, the next, until basically I saw the footage. And when I saw the footage, it was kind of breathtaking. It was really kind of amazing. I mean, actually, even when the editor saw the footage, back like 2 months later, she was completely blown over by it, because there was just something in it that was so magnificent. And are you talking about the buildings like kind of breaking, or you're talking about explosion? Like, I'll talk about both of them. But that was the part about the demolition. And I remember, and I guess this just goes to when you give your collaborators the freedom to not only find their own poetry, but also, to kind of just, you don't have to give them so much. You just give them a few words of inspiration. So I had always told them, I don't care so much about destruction. We see that every single day. We know this stuff is happening, but I want to see the poetry of the destruction. If you can find that, if you can elevate death, then that's what I'm looking for. So he had found that, and then with the editor, we were able to compose, whole segments to do with that, and it's one of, my favorite moments, obviously, in the film. And the actual destruction of the theater, that was that was always written in the script as a dream sequence, because the whole time the film is about the destruction of the theater. So I actually really just wanted to show the audience what that would look like, and then throughout the film we would have seen demolitions throughout the thing, but they're in realistic kind of motion and sort of just far away. So I wanted really the audience to feel what the death of their own house would look like, and of course I wanted to elevate that death, to another level. So I remember, wanting to shoot this in slow motion and actually tear down all of the instruments and all these sceneries that we had, been watching, for the whole film, and I remember being very, very like specific about wanting everything to actually explode rather than just things to fall and sort of being because there's different ways you can do it. You use ropes or explosives. I actually wanted to explode like everything, because I wanted fireworks. So, and I felt that was like sometimes you can't really fully describe why you need something. You just know that this is what you want, and this is one of those moments. So I'm glad we pulled through, because that was actually an entire day of filming at the very end of the shoot, essentially. So to actually be able to build an entire theater up and then live through it, film through it, it was our home, for an entire month and a half, and then to at the very end of the film, the experience, to actually tear it down. It was a really like kind of a satisfying experience. I don't want to say sad, but it was certainly like we like to actually break through the wall. We had to strategically find the spaces to actually do, because we just couldn't afford to tear down the entire place, you know. So, but there was something really quite beautiful about that destruction, and I wanted to people to feel that beauty. Anyways.